Dates back to 1893, Vanderbilt and Ole Miss. The Rebels open up their 2002 SEC season as they host the Vanderbilt Commodores from Nashville. Hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Neal. This is my partner, Dave Rowe. Welcome to Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Kickoff about 60 seconds away. Before we get to that, Dave, it looks like Eli Manning might be back on track, and that could be good news for the rest of the Rebels.
Well, I can tell you how good a news it is because, first of all, the offense feeds on Eli Manning, but so does the defense. As he goes, so goes this team.
Well, it'll see how Eli Manning and company can handle this Vanderbilt defense, which is a much improved unit, as Ole Miss will receive the opening kickoff. Collins and Armstead deep to receive for the Rebels. Bobby Johnson, back-to-back road games in the Southeastern Conference, taking his Commodores on the road for the second consecutive year as well to Oxford. Last year, these clubs played a dynamite game to finish out the campaign. Greg Johnson to kick off for the Commodores. And Collins will take a knee, and Ole Miss will take over at the 20. Let's check in with the third member of our team, Dave Buzz Baker. Buzz?
Dave, opening drives are always crucial in terms of setting a tone, but Ole Miss desperately wants to make something happen right now. The Rebels have not scored a touchdown in the first quarter this year. There you see what they've done on their opening drive. I talked to head coach David Cutcliffe a little while ago. He said last week we got 30 yards on the first play, we just didn't finish the drive. And while they're not panicking about this, they are going to do some very specific things here in this opening drive to not only get the offense going, but to finish in the end zone, Dave.
Thanks, Buzz. As you saw there, they averaged 6.2 plays per drive in the first quarter. Basically, that amounts to a first down and then a punt. First pass completed to Bill Flowers, the team's leading receiver. Russian Jones runs him out of bounds, a gain of 7 on the play. Well, let's take a look at our Chevy starting lineups, and there is Bill Flowers now with 17 receptions after that one. He has stepped up big time for Ole Miss. In the backfield, Robert Williams, a couple of 100-yard games to start the season. Marcus Johnson, his brother Belton Johnson at right tackle. Those two have played side by side now in their 15th consecutive game. And there is Eli Manning, 55% completion rate. Last year, he was up around 63%, but 34 of 57 last week. Those numbers are increasing with each attempt. Manning to throw again. Pump fakes, has some room, will run for it. First down, Ole Miss. The Vanderbilt defense brought to you by Chevy. Chuck Losey will lead that defensive line. He's been the most consistent player there. Those guys are playmakers. Hunter Hillenmeyer, we talked about him earlier. This guy has been awesome. 40 tackles, second in the Southeastern Conference. Jonathan Schaub had a career-high 8 tackles last week against Auburn. And there is Bobby Johnson in his first year as the head coach of the Commodores. Last year's Division I AA National Coach of the Year at Furman. First running play of the game for the Rebels goes to Robert Williams. Gets a yard or two. Aaron Carter on the tackle for the Vanderbilt Commodores.
And Dave, interesting first series there. Throw a quick pass, make a completion. Eli brings the ball down and runs for the first down. Now you start to run the football. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him throw 6, 7 of those short passes, move those chains, get that ball down here, and get that monkey off your back of not scoring in the first quarter.
Tight formation for the Rebels. They'll split it out. Ziegler, the tight end, moves to the right side of the line. Single setback is the fullback, Rick Rosano. He'll swing out, and that's where Manning goes with it. Rosano out over the 45, a major collision with Russian Jones. That'll be close to a first down. Gain of 9 on the play.
Whatever happened to the old plays where the running back ran out of bounds? Watch Rosano on this play. Catches the ball, little swing, it's a safe pass. Good. Now watch him when he turns upfield. He doesn't run out of bounds. Ouch.
That's a collision. Everybody's all right. And look at Rick, getting a little focused today.
I think he could be a Raider.
Of course, 2 weeks ago we were here, and on the walk through the Grove, the team walks through the Grove on the way to the stadium. He proposed to his girlfriend, Leah Henley, a member of the Ole Miss basketball team. They will be getting married coming months. Manning's pass caught by Espy. That's another Ole Miss first down. Or they call it an incomplete pass. Oh, an official came in and said incomplete, so we'll do it again.
Yeah, the official in the back called it good, but watch the ball skip off the turf. Right there, right on the turf. The other official coming in from this direction saw that it had touched the turf and ruled it incomplete. But good to see Manning on that delivery straight in there. He's receiving receivers getting good spread on the defensive coverage. And hey, you know what? You got to compliment officials. That's good communication.
Absolutely. Good job by the officiating crew. Manning fires again. Pass is caught. Russian Jones being dragged inside the 40. That'll be an Ole Miss first down, a gain of 18.
Well, watch this. Come out of the backfield. Make it just swing out. Now, just look out here. It's wide open. Nice catch. Now, turn upfield. Find some room. Get yards. Keep those feet dragging. Just keep on pumping. He picks up about 8 yards after he was touched.
Cutcliffe likes the fullback work he's got between Rosano and Tremaine Turner this year. That was Turner picking up not only a couple of Vanderbilt defenders, but a first down. Rick Rosano, the other fullback. Javon Hay on the stop.
You know, we mentioned Rosano, and we will do a lot of mentioning of his name just on a play like that. Just sees that little crack. I asked David Cutcliffe, I said, where in the world did he come from? Just a sophomore, and he has burst onto the scene.
What a balanced opening drive. 4 passes, 3 rushes. Started at their own 20. It's been a methodical opening drive. This is exactly what Coach Cutcliffe wanted from his offensive unit. Now they need to score some points. Flowers, pass is caught, and I think he has enough for a first down at the 26. Gain of 5 on the play. Dominique Morris, the redshirt freshman, on the coverage for the Commodores. Bill Flowers is a guy that has a football history, comes from a football background. He's a football junkie. Almost got a little too frustrated last year, talked to his coach, but he's the kind of guy that you kind of got to have on the field.
Well, you want a guy like that. You want a guy in the offensive huddle especially who gets in there and just says, hey, throw it to me. I can catch it. And that's what he told David Cutcliffe last year. And then he went out and proved it on the field.
Timeout by the Rebels. 11:57 to go in this game between the Rebels and the Commodores from Oxford. Back after this. Back in Oxford, Mississippi, 11:57 to go in the first quarter. Ole Miss driving. Now 1st and 10 at the Vanderbilt 26. Little play action. Manning will throw. Looks to the end zone. No flags. Flowers in the Ole Miss crowd wanted it, but Russian Jones was on the coverage for Vanderbilt.
Flowers was just on a tear that time, and he gets bumped. But the ball, I think the official rules the ball's uncatchable. You see, it's not even hardly in the picture. It went way over top of him. No contact, and that's been a real sticky issue, that pass defense and defending with both these coaches.
It's the 6th pass of this drive. First 3 runs for the Rebels. I formation on 2nd down and 10. Hand off to Williams. Gibney, the safety, along with Chuck Losey on the stop for the Commodores. That'll bring up a 3rd down after the gain of 4.
Well, if I'm in this situation, it's 3rd down, you know who I go to? I'm either going to go to Flowers or I'm going to find Ziegler. He wanted Ziegler on that crossing pattern the last time across, but he was covered. But I'm going to go to one of those 2. Now Ziegler comes out, so they're going to 4 wideouts.
6 DBs, 4 wideouts. On 3rd down and 6. Play clock down to 1. Manning gets it off. Pass batted down in the air, nearly picked off. Russian Jones on a corner blitz caused havoc. Last week, defensive lineman for Texas Tech knocked down a couple of passes as well.
Well, there's no one on top of your screen. You're going to see number 11 come in there. That's Russian Jones, and he just gets those big arms right up. Quarterbacks, you got to kind of slide around a little bit, Dave.
And Dave, it almost looked like the ball fell almost right into the lap of Russian Jones after I don't think he realized where the ball was. Jonathan Nichols to kick. Cody Ridgway with a bad shoulder on the hold. Kick is up, and it's good from 39. Jonathan Nichols had missed 3 kicks his last home game, but nails one here, and the Rebels score their first quarter points of the season. They lead Vandy 3-0. Back after a word from your local stations. David Cutcliffe wanted a pretty good start on the opening drive, and Dave Rowe, I think he got it.
Yes, he did. 12 plays. That was a great drive. They got points off it.
Now they're only trailed by 17 in the first quarter department. But second quarter, Ole Miss has been more than adequate. Lee Rogers will kick off. Taken. Quane Doster. Doster with great speed out over the 25 to the 26. And that's where the Commodores will take over. And let's take a look at the Chevy starting lineup for the Vanderbilt Commodores. MJ Garrett, where have you been? Only 2 receptions this year. Remember, here's a guy that had over 200 yards receiving in a game last year. They need him to step up. Justin Geisinger, Jim May, Jamie Byron on that left side of the offensive line. Pretty good. Mac Pyle also replacing the right guard, Brian Kobeliski, who's injured. So keep an eye on Mac Pyle. Jay Cutler, he's had a pretty good run of it here as a redshirt freshman. This option has been very kind to him. They will hand it off to Norval McKenzie, the tailback. Here's our Chevy defensive lineman. Eric Johnson, 11 tackles, 3 of those coming behind the line of scrimmage. Josh Cooper's also played pretty well up front in the Rebels' 4-2-5 alignment. Lanier Goethe, 20 tackles, 2 for loss. And in the secondary, Chris Knight's had a pretty good year, 22 tackles, but Eric Oliver at free safety. Coaches say he's played pretty good, but he's such a good athlete, such a good football player. They're expecting for him to kind of sooner or later break out, and they hope it's here today. A couple of tight ends. Quane Doster in at tailback. Doster gets the handoff. Doster gets a couple on the play before he's brought down by Josh Cooper. We saw Doster. He looked pretty good last week. He's getting some early carries.
Yeah, I like his running style. I think he gets to the outside a lot better. And if he can get that jump to the outside, I'm surprised. Cutler's run that option so well. No one's been able to stop it. We've run a couple plays here and have not seen it. I wonder if they're just kind of tightening them up a little bit so that now they can run it.
3rd and 3. Matthew Tant in the backfield along with Norval McKenzie. It's the handoff. McKenzie has some room. McKenzie out over midfield. First down Vanderbilt and a bunch more with it. Inside the 40. Desmond Johnson finally brings him down, but a gain of 31 for the Commodores.
Well, and we talked about missed tackles. This is a missed tackle, but it's Lanier Goethe. Watch number 38 come up here. You got to make that tackle. You got to hold on. He gets clipped off the play right there. Good block by the up back. Now, get to the outside, utilize that speed, and he does.
And he finishes the runoff in fine fashion as well. 1st and 10, 36-yard line, I formation. Here's the option. Cutler loses a yard. And well played by the Ole Miss defense. Jermaine Landrum on the stop. When the Jefferson Pilot Sports Crew is on the road covering SEC football, we like to eat at Huddle House and always enjoy their big house breakfast and lunch platters. Jay Cutler, 6'4", 210 from Santa Claus, Indiana.
Love that name. Well, that option works well. I think Cutler actually runs it better to his left, using the fullback action coming left. But now he's almost assuredly in a pass situation.
2nd down and 11. Doster gets the handoff and gets a couple of yards to the 35. Goethe wrapped him up that time. Goethe wearing 38, the Chucky Mullins recipient award. Dan Stricker need a big game from him. Last week, Dave, he dropped a touchdown pass that was critical.
Oh, you just never see that from him. Great hands. Interesting. Stricker goes out. They need him on 3rd down and 8 yards, and they take their best wide receiver and take him to the sideline. That's an interesting call.
3rd down 9. Brandon Smith, Keith Williams, your receivers, a couple of tight ends. Doster in at tailback. Little play action. Cutler to throw for the first time. Fires wide open through the hands of his receiver, Keith Williams, who got twisted up, but he was wide open. Pressure came from Jesse Mitchell that forced a throw.
Boy, you talk about close. This ball was right off his fingertips. Top of your screen, you're going to see a little bit of pressure. Good hang in there by Cutler. It looks like he almost falls back a little bit when he throws it, and maybe that caused it to sail. But look at this. Oh, mercy. He had nobody for him for around him for probably 4 or 5 yards.
Well, how about Vandy going for it? 4th and 9. They're in that no man's land. They have a true freshman kicker, Greg Johnson, who's been pretty good. But it would have been a 50-plus yard field goal. So Vanderbilt lines up in 4th down and 9. Cutler fires, pass caught at the 25.5. Is it enough?
Oh, wow.
Stricker with the great catch.
Boy, and that was a tough pass for Cutler under a lot of pressure. Watch when he drops back right here. He's got to throw this ball early. There's 95. That's Mitchell running down on him. He gets hit from the other side, but he delivers a strike. Watch Stricker go down. Low target. Look at him get those arms underneath. Boy, that was a great catch.
Move the change. 1st and 10 on 4th and 9. Bobby Johnson with a little gamble. I formation. Tant McKenzie in the backfield. Cutler keeps it on the option. Gets tripped up at the 22-yard line. Travis Blanchard on the stop for Ole Miss. Thanks, Buzz. We'll keep an eye on that. Mac Pyle does go about 305, so he's another big body they can put in that offensive line. Cutler under pressure. Cutler sacked at the 30-yard line. Nice play by the Ole Miss defensive front. Josh Cooper will get the sack. As a matter of fact, for the Ole Miss Rebels, that's their 10th sack of the season.
Well, watch number 38 right in the middle of your screen come in there. He's the one who really gets the pressure, fights off a couple little wedge blocks there. Now he gets a hand in here. Then Josh Cooper comes in for the finish. But it was really Goethe who caused the quarterback to get his eyes off the field.
There's Lanier, number 38, in honor of Chucky Mullins. Mentioned that a little while ago. Chucky, the former defensive back who was paralyzed and later died. Lanier Goethe worked hard and earned that honor this year to wear number 38 from his previous number of 2. Cutler to the corner, overthrows his receiver Stricker, who was trailed by 3 blue jerseys.
And Dave, that was a poor pass by Cutler. The ball came off his hand, and you could see immediately it came off his hand and started fluttering. It just had no trajectory on it, wasn't going to get there.
So that'll bring up 4th down and 15. There is Lanier. Said he was very honored and thrilled with that honor of the 38 jersey. Greg Johnson, 3 of 4 this year. The true freshman out of Parkview, Lilburn, Georgia, Parkview High School, the left-footed kicker. It's a line drive and no good. It hit the post. So Vandy thwarted on their opening drive. And Ole Miss will take over. Oh, so close. Ole Miss leads Vanderbilt 3-0, 5:40 to go in the opening quarter from Oxford, Mississippi. After the Greg Johnson missed field goal, Ole Miss takes over at the 30. And off to Williams. Ole Miss's opening drive, Dave, pretty good.
Yes, it really was a good drive. Good play selection, 5 runs, 7 passes. He completed 4 of them. Swing passes out here to Rosano. Picked up good positive yardage. They got down and they came away with points. Something, as you said, Dave, they haven't done this season.
Cutcliffe, the man of the hour. David Cutcliffe, 4th year here at the helm of the Ole Miss program. .36, and Ole Miss will face a 3rd down. Williams on the carry. John Latina, the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach.
Well, I told him, I said, you're going to develop this into an offensive line university for some of the players that he's had in the past, Metcalf, Rays, Wade, and some of those guys.
Third down and 4. Ole Miss hasn't been as efficient as previous years under Coach Cutcliffe in this situation. Said they really wanted to improve on that. 3 wideouts in the game. Manning pressure from behind. Might have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage, which would have avoided the sack. Nobody has sacked Manning yet this year. Chuck Losey put the pressure on him, and Jovan Hay came in and made the tackle.
All the way around the outside. Left of your screen, you see Chuck Losey, 54, and he does a great job of going after the quarterback's arm to make him pull it down. When you take your defensive back, goes all the way around the outside, it's too long.
They're going to give him a sack. So the first sack of the year given up by that Ole Miss offensive line. Brant Brigham back to return the punt of Corey Ridgway, who we didn't think would play today with a separated shoulder. And there's a fumble on the return. Who has it? It'll be Rebel football inside the 20.
Well, that looked to me like the old Cardinal sin of taking your eye off the ball. You're protected. You're receiving the football. You don't take your eyes off it. See if he doesn't put his head down to see who's coming. Right in here. Watch this. He kind of looks at, and all of a sudden he bobbles it. And that's Matt Greer that comes in there, number 44. And he sticks him.
Let's see what Vandy's defense can do. Williams inside the 10, down to the 8. About 4 yards shy of the first down. Or excuse me, about a yard shy of the first down.
Well, you love a running back that runs behind his blockers. Look at this. You see an inside block, he cut it outside, you set him up. Doug Buckles was the guard coming from the offside. He got a great block on that play.
Give him 9 on the carry. Ole Miss offense, 11 touchdowns, 16 possessions. They were one of the best in the country last year in the red zone. I formation. Hand off to the up back. Rosano gets, I don't know if he got it. It might be 3rd and 1. Hillenmeyer stepped into the hole and made the tackle for Vanderbilt.
Well, if you're going to guess, you want to guess right. And that's what Hillenmeyer did on that play. 47 burst through that guard, center gap, and met the running back just as he had gotten the football. Dropped him for actually a loss.
You know, Ole Miss hasn't scored a touchdown in the first quarter since their game in the Egg Bowl against Mississippi State on November 22nd of 2001. Joe Gunn scored it.
Wow. I know what I'd do. I'd go to Ziegler.
A couple of tight ends on 3rd and a yard and a half. It's Williams, got met in the hole. I don't know. I don't know, Dave. That was...
Could you hear that? Man, oh man, we're a long way from it.
Jonathan Schaub came out of a safety spot and created havoc.
Yeah, watch 13 come into your picture right there. You see him coming in? Stick him and don't let him fall forward. Again, you want to come up and you don't let that running back twist and fall forward. You take him back. He got a little bit of help there by Gibney, number 14.
Robert Williams got banged up, Dave, on the play as well. Here it is, 4th down and 1. Rebels 0 for 4 this year on 4th down conversions. Rashawn Pearson, the tailback. He gets the handoff. And I think he got it. Pearson didn't play last week versus Texas Tech.
Boy, you want to see what a defensive stand looks like? There were about 22 players within about 5 yards. Look at them all up in there. Everybody's up in there. They all know it's big man on big man. And Pearson makes a real nice cut. He saw a little tiny crack and just kind of scooted through it for the yard.
Fresh set of downs, 1st and goal now from the 7 for the Rebels. Manning to his tight end, Hartsfield. He gets tripped up inside the 5. Jonathan Schaub on the tackle. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 2nd and goal, but a Rebel is down in the center of the field. Doug Ziegler, the tight end. So if you can take anything out of this, it doesn't appear to be anything that will threaten him long term. But Doug Ziegler, a crowd favorite, a class act, a good guy, heads off to the locker room, and we certainly wish him all the best and hope that those x-rays come back negative. We will, of course, keep you updated the instant we get information.
And now how will Ole Miss react to that? Sometimes that can really sink you. Sometimes it can motivate you.
We will see. And the fact of life is you got to go back and get back on the football field. And Eli Manning will be a guy that Dave has to be the leader.
Absolutely. Doug Ziegler is his roommate.
Here we go, guys. Here we go, man.
And Eric Rice will check into the game, number 80 as a tight end. The nephew of Jerry Rice. I formation. It's second down and goal from the 3. Rashawn Pearson, is the tailback. Rick Rosano, the fullback. It's the Pearson. Pearson dives in, touchdown, Ole Miss. His first rushing touchdown of the season for the redshirt freshman out of Ripley, Mississippi.
When the first person in the end zone was number 62, Doug Buckles, the big guard. He was right in front of him. Watch 62 driving off here. When Pearson gets his head in his back, they're both going into the end zone. See, there he is underneath him. Buckles, big 62.
Point after. Up and good. 6 plays, 18 yards, 5 runs, the last of which came by that man, Rashawn Pearson, who scored 77 touchdowns in his high school career.
Well, a quick little trap inside. It's a tough play. You down block in here, and then you come around. You see Buckles come around there and just drive through. And if you're the running back, all you do is you pick up that number 62, and you say, hey, he's the lead man, and you just follow him. And that's what Pearson did.
Buzz, understand you've got an update on Doug Ziegler?
Yeah, Dave, we've heard trainer Tim Mullins said they're fearful of a fracture of the lower left leg. They've sent him over to Baptist Memorial Hospital to get x-rays, and we'll give you more just as soon as we know. But they believe it could be fractured, and that's why they've casted it up the way that they have and sent him over to the hospital.
Thank you very much, Buzz, for getting that to us as quickly as you could. Bobbled by Quane Doster, but he has some room. Quane out over the 25, gets hit pretty hard right there, but Vanderbilt holds on to the football after the 25-yard return.
I think you go back to what you've done well. You've run the option well. They found Stricker. He's made a living here at Ole Miss. That's where you got to go.
The option has lost a yard, and it's gained 3, but they'll go with the handoff off the left side. Lost a couple, did Norval McKenzie. And that'll probably be the last play of the first quarter. Here, Vanderbilt takes over at the 25. Cutler to pass. Hits his tight end, Tom Simone. Simone gets tripped up at the 35 in an awkward tackle. And I hope Tom Simone is all right. Ole Miss recovers the fumble. So a big turnover caused by the defense. Hamilton forced the fumble. Daniel Booth picks up the fumble recovery.
Well, it's a good completion there. It's a tight end drag off the line, but you got to put this thing away. Oh, man, what a hit, though. Got hit low in the back and ripped back over top. Guess that does give you a right to fumble the ball when you get hit like that.
Justin Wade.
Field position's incredible for Ole Miss.
Nice play action from Manning. Pass is caught. Tay Biddle, the redshirt freshman out of Decatur, Georgia. Look at our first quarter stats. And that was really all Ole Miss. Nice opening drive. Time of possession, 9 minutes, 11 seconds.
Good to see Manning off to a good start. 5 of 8 in that first quarter.
Bobby Johnson, this is kind of, as a head coach, this is your worst nightmare. Turning it over to Ole Miss twice. Ronald McClendon on first down gets actually lost about a yard. Justin Gibney makes the stop.
Boy, that's what you want your defense to do. When you have a runner that's trying to get to the outside, just keep on running them to the outside. Oh, boy.
There goes Robert Williams to that Ole Miss locker room, being helped in, and he finished the first quarter with 6 carries, 20 yards. But apparently a sprained knee is a little too much for Robert to handle, and he will head back to that locker room. We hope he's not too seriously injured. He's been having a great year. Shotgun for Manning. Pass, batted in the air, nearly picked off right through the hands of Jason Armstead.
got to catch that one. I wondered if he looked around on that play, because, and you can see it in Eli Manning's face. You've got to catch this. This is a strike. Right in your arms, nobody near you. I know you're crossing the middle, but you got to come and look at Eli. You got to catch that thing.
Just got word it's a sprained ankle for Robert Williams. Ole Miss facing third down and 11. They are 0 for 3 today on third down opportunities. Manning, McClendon, flag down. McClendon well shy of the first down. Flag down at about the 29 on the far side of the field. Looks as though Cliff Woodruff, number 74, is getting some action. Might have been grabbing a jersey over there. We'll see.
That's what the call is. It's going to be holding against Ole Miss. Now, do you take the fourth down because they're still in field goal range, or do you take the hold, which would take them back 10 yards? The hold was actually about 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage behind it, so it'd be about a 12, 13-yard penalty, but then you give Eli Manning and company third down again.
That's our referee. Pin wagers. Microphone not working. But we got the gist of that call. And here comes the field goal team. Ridgeway to hold. Jonathan Nichols to attempt a 43-yarder. Nichols, career long, is 47. Kick is up. Kick is good. Ole Miss had some problems with their field goal unit, but it appears today they've got it going. A couple of field goals. They now lead it. A touchdown, a couple of field goals, and Ole Miss off to a good start over the Commodores, 13-0 in Oxford, Mississippi. Lee Rogers to kick off for the Rebels. Back to return. Quane Doster, the single back, standing at the goal line. Look at the new end zone addition here at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. It's a high kick that will send Doster almost out of the back of the end zone, so a touchback. And I tell you, Vanderbilt has turned it over a couple of times, but the field position of this game is really unbelievable. Ole Miss, their drives average starting at the Vandy 31. Vanderbilt's drive at their own 22. That's a problem when both teams start the same yard line on the same side of the field.
Well, you start talking about getting serious, and Vandy needs to get serious. They've really dodged it a little bit because they've had 2 turnovers and they're only down 13-0. They need to start moving the chains, get some pressure off their defense.
Dave, this is almost what happened to Ole Miss last week at Texas Tech. They turned the ball over. Texas Tech had the ball twice at the 10-yard line or inside the 20 early in the game. Doster really quick. Gets a couple of yards out to the 23-yard line.
Yeah, I like Doster's speed, Dave. I think he's quick. I think you need to get him the ball a little bit. I think they ought to maybe use him on little swing passes when he gets one-on-one out there with that backer and see if he can beat him, but he's got great speed.
There's Ted Kane, the offensive coordinator for Vanderbilt. The offensive coordinator at NC State from 86 to 96. Coached a couple of years at VMI as the head man. Little dive play to the fullback Tant. That worked well at Auburn. Didn't work well today. Eric Johnson on the stop.
Boy, you talk about stopping them. Wow, this is a wall. Watch 98 come in there. Right to the right of your screen, right there. Stick him. And he just drives him inside. That's what you want your big defensive lineman to do. Get off the football, get engaged, and be gaining ground.
Dave, where's the option?
I know, that's what I kept on asking. Hey, man, they have run that play, and they've run it with success. What, only twice so far in this game.
There's the option. 2 plays, 2 yards. 3 wide outs on third down. Cutler will keep it. Cutler dancing his way close to the 30. If any part of the ball is over the 30-yard line, it'll be a first down. Hutchins and Greer converge for the tackle, and he did get enough. First down for the Commodores. He paid a price, but got the first down.
Well, this is quarterback draw all the way. Watch, he's going to drop back here. Then he's just going to find a line to come up in here. And now just put your head down. He's get right to the 30-yard line. Well, I'll tell you one thing. They got a fortunate mark. I mean, that ball must have barely touched that 30-yard line.
That's all it needs.
That's what you said.
I formation on 1st and 10. Here's Tant. Bounces to the outside and cuts it back up the middle over the 35. At halftime, we'll be taking a look at the Alltel halftime stats and much, much more coming up. 11 minutes and counting. Jay Cutler last week, Dave, had a couple of bad interceptions that hurt this team. And, you know, he's a redshirt freshman. And in talking to Coach Kane, he was like, you know, one of those was a freshman. The other one is just good play defensively.
But that's how you learn in this game. It takes experience. There's no substitute for experience.
Here's the option. Cutler near side. Cutler. Once again, all he had to do was get to the 40. And he might have gotten the first down. I believe he did.
Yeah, he made 5 yards on it. Now, they made yardage on it because Cutler read it so well. As he comes down the line, look, he's trying to read right here. He reads, he sees Spence get kicked out. Now, don't pitch, don't pitch. See him put that ball down. He knows he only has to get 5 yards, and he sees it when he comes out there. When he starts turning up, he sees that yardage marker. I'm surprised I'd just stay with it. I'll tell you right now, I'd stay with it and just wear it out until you stopped it.
Tant the up back, McKenzie the tailback. Garrett, Stricker, your receivers. Cutler has to unload it and does so and throws it out of bounds. Pressure came from Josh Cooper. Crowd wanted a grounding.
I thought Cutler got hurt on the play. Boy, he was in an awkward position. Now this is looked like an option now. Drop back. He's looking for crossing action. No one's there. But when he gets collapsed right here, he gets bent over. Wouch. That's a stick in the chest.
Dave, you have to get outside the tackles if you're going to throw it away, and that was very close. I don't know that he may have moved a step or two to the right, but I don't know that he got outside. 3rd down now coming up. Excuse me, 2nd down and 10 coming up. Audible at the line of scrimmage. McKenzie fights his way back to the 40, lost a yard.
And Dave, we've talked about the offensive line. We talked about Kovaleski not being in there. He's a sophomore. He's replaced by a freshman. But right now, Vandy is not controlling the line of scrimmage. Bobby Johnson knows that. They've got to control the line of scrimmage or else get outside. The way they've gotten outside with success is with that option.
Third down and 11.
Well, I think on a play like this, 3rd down and about 11 yards, I'm going down on a streak down the sideline. If they intercept it or you're going to make it, I'm just going way down far.
Well, 4 receivers in the game. Cutler now under pressure. Cutler dodges one defender. Can he dodge more? No. LP Spence finally brings him down. A couple of missed tackles. Charlie Anderson really had a good look at him, but Cutler evaded that potential mess.
Well, he was going to go down, but he had to get some time. Charlie Anderson missed the tackle right there. You can't come up with a missed tackle like that. Now Cutler's just running for life right here. Gets back to the line of scrimmage.
4th down and 10. Greg Johnson, who handles the kicking, also punts it away, averaging over 43 per kick. Armstead takes it at the 22. Flag down at the 44 of Vanderbilt. A 37-yard punt.
Now see if that's a hold. That may be a hold on the defense. It's thrown way up where the ball was kicked.
Yeah, Vanderbilt may want to kick this again. Ball's at the 31.
We thought that might be a hold right in there, but I don't think so. The flag was thrown so far back upfield. That looks like he just kind of rode him out, but good coverage. But you may be right. It all depends whether it's a pre-kick penalty.
We will find out the story.
Dave Baker back here with you in Oxford. Ole Miss on top of Vandy 13-0, but it's been an expensive start for the Rebels. Robert Williams, the outstanding running back, behind us on the table to our left, his left ankle. They've taken him in. They've x-rayed it. They're not sure what the results of the x-rays are already. Ziegler has gone to the hospital, the outstanding tight end. They fear he has a broken lower left leg. And just moments ago, Lanier Goethe, the outstanding defensive back, also went into the locker room on crutches. They're going to x-ray his left foot as well. So injuries beginning to pile up early on for the Rebels, Dave.
And there is Robert Williams. And Buzz, one Vanderbilt note for you. Norval McKenzie limped off the field on that last possession as well. So we'll see what happened to Norval. Body's just dropping left and right out here today. 2nd down and 10 for the Rebs. Manning steps up. Short hops his receiver, Chris Collins. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, just a quick note on that injury to Goethe, Dave. They've already lost Eddie Strong. So now they've lost Goethe, so now they're 3 deep at that backer spot.
For the best deals on cars, trucks, and SUVs, it's easy for me to say, visit your local Toyota dealer today. That'd be cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Yeah, I got it. SUVs.
Yeah.
You'll be driving an SUV next week.
Not anymore after saying that.
No. You'll be back to the Cadillac. No, I'm not even going to go that way.
Manning fires right off the arms of Ross Barkley. That was a very catchable ball for a 1st down.
Boy, that was. Those are balls that should be caught. You know, they dropped the one across the middle. Now you just drop this one. This is 1st down. You just can't drop them. You got to help your quarterback.
Ole Miss now 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions. Cody Ridgway back to kick it away. Cody leads the Southeastern Conference in punting, 46 average. And here's another high kick. Fair catch called for by Brigham, who fumbled his last punt return. But so far, the Ole Miss defense playing pretty well.
Well, it's a game of pressure. You see Cutler going down. He got hit there. This is one he gets hit again. Now he gets buried on this next one. Look at that. Ripped back over. It's been a long day for him, and we're only in the 2nd quarter.
That option has struggled a little bit. There is Chuck Driesbach, the defensive coordinator, who said, Dave, interesting that they practiced defending the option without a football.
Yeah. And what he said was they practiced it because he wanted each person to react to the player, not to the ball. That was a great coaching move.
The option's been run 3 times today. Over the middle, there's Simone, the tight end at the 30, or excuse me, MJ Garrett. MJ Garrett with only 2 catches makes a huge one. 1st down, Vanderbilt.
Boy, a couple good blocks up front to give him time. Look at the time he has. Then he just lays it up there, comes down with the football. That's exactly what they needed. They need something to move those chains, get down that 4-down territory. But he needs to credit his offensive lineman, Garrett does in them, to say, hey, thanks for all the time to sit back there and pass.
Garrett had only had 2 receptions all year, but he hadn't had a single catch in the last 2 games. McKenzie in motion. Cutler keeps it on the option. Jay Cutler inside the 25.
If I'm Jay Cutler, I come right back with it. It's worked. Go to it. You can't wear it out.
Doster off the right side. Great speed. Doster will score. Quade Doster, the true freshman out of Tampa, Florida, has a 4.340 time. And we just saw a little bit of that right there.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, if I was Doster, I would go back and thank my tight end. Right there, you see in the left of your screen, right up in the air. He just locked him inside. Then a good kick out block there. And he's down the sideline and utilizes that great speed. But it all started with that block by the tight end, Tom Simone.
I also have to say that Baracola, the fullback, number 41, with that block, also with a huge addition to that play. Johnson's point after is up and good. 3 plays, 65 yards, and Quade Doster with his first touchdown. And Vanderbilt right back in it. Vanderbilt marches it down the field, scores their first touchdown in a game and a quarter. And right back in at 13-7, they now trail Ole Miss. Vanderbilt last week hung in there with Auburn, down 14-6 at halftime.
Well, they looked competitive last week. They could move the football. You remember they had 12 missed tackles last week? They have none so far in this game.
Collins drops it at the 3. Collins out to the 20. Well, Baracola, the fullback out of Pensacola, Florida for Vanderbilt, number 41, is a great story. Had a big block. He's somewhere in that crowd. Had a big block on that touchdown run, Dave. Here's a guy that has had 2 knee injuries. This is just an idea of what he's done. He walked on, then suffered a knee injury. Then he became an assistant student equipment manager. Then he went to scout team, but then blew out his knee again. In 2001, he became the head student equipment manager, and it was killing him because he's a football junkie. Well, the new coaching staff came on board. He asked to come back on the team. They allowed him to do it as McClendon picks up a couple. The coaches said, yeah, come back out. We'll be more than happy to take a look at you. Well, he started as a 5th team fullback on their depth chart and has now worked his way up to the top spot fullback. And the coaches say he is a brilliant blocker, and we saw an example of that with that touchdown run. And I'd just like to tip my cap to that young man who's already picked up a degree in mechanical engineering and mathematics.
Hey. That's not too easy to do, but you know the great tribute to him is coaches will tell you can measure everything except the player's heart, and that's how he plays, with a heart. He loves it.
Well, the Ole Miss people love their Rebels, but not right this minute. McClendon loses maybe a yard or 2 on that. That'll bring up another 3rd down, and so far today, Ole Miss is 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions.
Well, 2 of them were dropped. That one that Armstead dropped across the middle. They've got to pick up first downs. You just don't give Vanderbilt life. You got to take it away from them.
Four-man rush. Manning over the middle. Pass is caught by Flowers. And I tell you something, Bill Flowers is coming up with some huge receptions for the Rebels this year. Schaub, the man on the spot for the Commodores, but a first down.
Yeah, watch this. Turn in. You know you're going to get hit. The minute that ball gets there, you tuck it tight and you hold on. But you got to be fearless, and you've got to get the first down yardage, and that's exactly what he did.
And that's a smart receiver too, Dave, and the fact that he knew exactly where that first down marker was, running away from it. I formation, play action. Manning to throw again. This time pass defended extremely well by Dominique Morris, the redshirt freshman. Tay Biddle was the intended receiver, but Morris really played that well.
We did. Went up high for the ball at the peak, knocked it away. Another one of those long yardage situations for Eli Manning. He hates to be in that 2nd and 10 plus.
Manning last week, 34 of 57. He chucked it all over the field. School record 57 pass attempts. Hunter Hillenmeyer, the middle linebacker for Vanderbilt, has his eyes locked on the quarterback. 5 DBs in the game. Manning fires over the middle. Who else? Bill Flowers.
How about the first down yardage? Right exactly at the first down marker. Got to reach for this one, Bill Flowers, and he does a great job. You know what? That'll bring a smile to your quarterback. Watch this again. Flowers is going to come across the middle. Look at him stretch out there. You know you got that linebacker coming on you. And again, great concentration. Get the arms out, pull it down, and twist and turn to get that first down yardage. Well, that's back-to-back ones for him.
Ole Miss now with 8 first downs. Another play action. Manning going for it all. Pass falls incomplete as Morris and Biddle get tripped up on that far sideline. The pass falls harmlessly to the ground.
Well, what Morris did is he looked back to the ball. He is playing the ball. Now, I know there's contact there, but he's playing the football. That's why there's no flag on the play.
Bruce Fowler, the defensive coordinator, told us that Dominic Morris, we specifically brought him up in our coaches meetings, and he said, yeah, that young fellow is playing better with each snap. That's Turner, the fullback, jumping around in motion, but Manning will throw it. Collins at midfield. Hit there by Shaw. That'll be about a yard shy of the first down.
And all of a sudden you get the feeling that Eli Manning is getting in that zone. Nice crisp passes, they're catching them. They're coming up with first down yardage, moving the chains. You've got a much more confident quarterback there.
Ball to Vanderbilt, 49.
10 of 17 for 83 yards is Eli Manning. Three wideouts, 5 DBs. The nickel package for the Commodores on third and short, a yard and a half. Thinking the Rebels will throw it. They do so to the fullback Turner. He gets bounced out of bounds by Jonathan Shaw. Shaw having a lot of tackles today.
And Dave, you see the way that pass was delivered, right straight on a strike, right to him, didn't have to move, picked up the first down yardage, keep those chains going. This is a great drive for Ole Miss. They needed this.
Ronald McClendon, the tailback. Turner, the fullback. Ole Miss will run it. It's McClendon inside the 40 to the 39. There goes Goldie, the junior college transfer, nicknamed Goldie because he has some gold teeth and loves to show them to you when he smiles.
The thing that has been a pleasant surprise on this drive is the play selection. Good mix-up by Eli Manning. Run, pass, back and forth, keep him off guard.
That's Pearson. Gets a couple. Hillenmeyer, first man on the spot. That'll bring up third down. And a couple. Give him a gain of 3 on the play. Stay tuned. Coming up at halftime, we'll be highlighting the best in the SEC, presented by Don Pablo's, along with much, much more. Dave Baker will join us in just a couple of more minutes of football. 3rd and 3 for the Rebels. Manning to throw to Flowers. First down, Ole Miss.
That's the 3rd time, right exactly at the first down yardage marker, and he makes a great pass and a great strike. This is just good quarterback receiver coordination. Drive him off the ball, just turn, the ball's already on its way. You can see across the field the first down marker. Move those chains.
Last week, Flowers with a career-high 8 catches, 91 yards against Texas Tech. Came in as the team's leading receiver, and he's adding to his totals today. Collins checks in for Flowers at one of the wide receiver spots in the I formation. Manning to throw again. He will go up top, looking for the home run ball. Just out of the reach of Mike Espy. Dominic Morris on the coverage, but Espy had a step on him.
Again, just a post pattern cut inside, ball overthrown. No chance. But doesn't he get good separation there from his defender? Eli goes, oh boy. You know, he loves seeing a quarterback when he does that. It's like saying, oh boy, I wish I had that one over.
The 12th play of this drive that has chewed up some clock. They picked up some first downs. 2nd down and 10 with 1:46 to go before halftime. Manning over the middle. Espy this time makes the catch inside the 20. First down, Ole Miss. Shaw now with his 8th tackle for the Commodores. A gain of 16.
Dave, we're seeing a quarterback that's very confident. We're seeing as he drops back, he knows he can throw strikes. He's in that groove. He catches Espy coming right across. And when you see a receiver catch it and not even have to change his stride, that's when your quarterback is on. He's leading them perfect. And Eli Manning is having a clinic here today. He may have started off slow in the other games, but this one here, he's on.
Play action again. Pass batted away. Dominic Morris, intended for Chris Collins.
Well, you hear the fans. They wanted a pass interference, but Morris, number 10, right top of your screen, as he makes the out, looking to get that hand in there. Now they wanted that right hand up on the body. But you see the official, how close he was. The official said, no way. It was not. He got that left hand in there.
Dave, the official was right on the spot. I mean, nobody in this building had a better look at it than he did. About 2 feet away.
Exactly. Big down here.
Second down, 10. All rest on the 17. Little delay handoff to Pearson. Pearson down to the 12. Javon Hay with the stop. And that'll bring up another third down.
I was watching Tremaine Turner that time, number 47, get a good block. Look at him coming up here. He's searching him out. Kind of get down on him, just kind of make him move around, but good carry. Good play selection again. You know what I'm going to do in this situation if I'm Eli Manning? I'm going to find one of my wideouts going on that crossing pattern across the middle. I think it's been open all day long.
I got you, man.
But he's calling the play.
Over the middle behind his receiver, looking for Trey Freifogel. And it might have gotten tipped, Dave.
Yeah, a ball thrown that poorly, I think it did get tipped. But he had Freifogel right across the middle. Come off the line, left to right. Let's see if that ball gets tipped on the line here. Yeah, you see the way it kind of took a different, it might have been tipped by Brett Beard.
Yeah, it definitely got tipped and changed the direction of the ball. That's why it was so far behind Freifogel. But here's the field goal attempt. 28-yarder coming. Jonathan Nichols' effort is good. Jonathan Nichols with his third field goal today from 40, from 42, and now from 28. Gives Ole Miss a 16-7 lead with 52 seconds to play before intermission.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, for linebackers, that's where you push everything. Usually it's from getting stepped on. Now Ziegler, he breaks both legs in his lower leg, both bones in his lower leg. That's a tough one.
Yeah, we wish him the best. Line drive kickoff taken by Doster at the goal line. Doster trying to find a seam, can't do so. 21-yard line is where he eventually would get tackled. LSU with the week off. Here's Cutler, has some running room out over the 30. Cutler out of bounds at the 35 with 40 seconds to go.
That's a good running play. You move it up. Now all of a sudden, if you're a coach, you look at it and you say, hey, can we pick up a couple more like that? You've got 40 seconds. You got some timeouts.
A couple of timeouts remaining. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to throw it down the middle of the field a couple of times and get it into that Ole Miss territory.
Well, they'd like nothing better than to go in on a positive note, but 16-7, they're still in this football game. With their field position, as you said, Dave, they could have been out of it.
Cutler brought down at the 30-yard line. Sack from Jesse Mitchell, his first of the season.
Boy, and Mitchell is just a hard worker. He's a nose tackle, number 95, gets in there. Now, he ducks back, and you see Mitchell never gets up. He was blocked. He was out of the play. But when you get that quarterback scrambling, you just keep on digging.
And that'll probably do it. I think Vanderbilt said if we can get it on this play, get some yardage, we will keep moving. But if not, we will sit on it and head to the locker room. Vanderbilt will receive the second half kickoff as Bobby Johnson heads to the locker room. His team down 9, 16-6.
See if that changes in the second half.
MJ Garrett did have a big 35-yard reception. MJ was held without a catch the last 2 ball games, but he's back on the board. Lee Rogers to kick it off. Quante Doster will return it at the 4. Doster to the 20, 16-yard return. Jay Cutler, 56 yards passing, 22 rushing. Overall, Cutler 3 of 6 throwing the football, and he has rushed it a total of 9 times as well. He's taken some shots, but the redshirt freshman has hung in there.
Yeah, he has hung in there. I'd like to see him run more options, start this game off. If you're going to stop Stricker, then you can't stop the option and Stricker. So they've got to find one of them.
Ted Kane trying to work some magic with this Vandy offense. Little play action. Cutler has time, fires, ball is tipped in the air. Rob Robertson, a sophomore, backup linebacker, got his big paw on it.
And he was going to Stricker on the play. Watch this. Get your hands up. You never know when you're going to touch the football. Great job right there. Again, little curl, a lot of time in there. His offensive line gives him a lot of time. He was going to Stricker.
So 2nd down and 10 for Vanderbilt. 3 wideouts in the game. Single back. Doster. Quane. Nice open field tackle in the secondary by the Rebels. A gain of only about 5. Travis Blanchard played that real well. And it brings up a 3rd down.
Well, Dave, you talk about the basics of tackling. This is exactly what it is. He's going to just come right up there, get a good base, and just smash him right there. And then hold on. Wait for help. That's the way you tackle great running backs.
And Doster looks like he has the potential to be a real good one in this league. Here's 3rd down and 5. Doster out of the game. McKenzie back in at tailback. Vandy 2 of 5 on 3rd down conversions this afternoon. Off tackle, and Vanderbilt will be punting. A loss of 2. Yerrick Johnson on the stop.
Well, he needs to credit Jesse Mitchell a little bit on that too, because they got great penetration. Again, coming off the line, watch 95 flash in there. You see him flash there, kind of disrupted a little bit. Then Johnson comes in and finishes it off. This is a defensive line that was quite maligned last year.
Craig Johnson to punt it away. He stands at his 11. Jason Armstead, who returned a punt for a touchdown against Memphis 2 weeks ago and set a school record in the process, catches it at the 22. Armstead, nowhere to go, well covered by the Commodores defensively. A 51-yard punt, a 4-yard return. Eli Manning, no real big plays, Dave, in the first 30 minutes of this game. All he was effective.
He certainly was. Interesting to watch him as he made his play selection. First off, he starts off and runs. That's something you don't see a whole lot of. Accurate passing, good swing passes out here, hit your backs in stride. Then they made yards, and he was under pressure many, many times. Hits crossing patterns, and he was very effective there. He's had an on first half.
Let's see what they do here in the I formation. McClendon, play action to him. Manning to throw. It's his fullback, Rosano. And Rick Rosano out over the 35 to the 37. He'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down. Grounded Waltower on the stop. 2nd down and 2. Remember, Ole Miss going without starter Robert Williams at running back. Here's the handoff to Pearson. Got maybe a yard and stood up on the spot. Gibbony and Carter converge.
Boy, I don't think he made it. I mean, you come up the middle like this, and the big boys are up front. There's no seam there. Good fill in there. They don't let them fall forward, and that's the sign.
3rd and 1 for Ole Miss.
Another 3rd down opportunity. Their 10th 3rd down opportunity this afternoon. I formation, Rosano the fullback, Pearson your tailback. It's the fullback. I don't know if he got it. Second effort may have cost it. A loose football on the ground. They'll say he was down, but Aaron Carter, the first man on the spot, I don't think he got it.
Well, I think Matt Clay also, number 99, got great penetration in there. Into the backfield. Look at him slide in there. Right there. Good concentration. Good drop. And then Carter, as you say, comes and just finishes him off.
Wow, what a good defensive stand by the Vanderbilt front 4. Brigham back to return the punt. He stands at the Vandy 20. And a flag down. A late flag. It's not the play clock.
Nope. think that's illegal.
To wear required equipment. Timeout is therefore charged to Ole Miss. Their first timeout.
Apparently, one of the Ole Miss players has their pant leg up above the knee. It has to be below the knee. And so Ole Miss is calling a timeout. They're charged a timeout. So we'll do it again after the timeout. Ridgway, who separated his shoulder on a play similar to that against Texas Tech last week, gets the punt off, and it's down at the 21. A 42-yard kick for the SEC's leader in that department. But Ridgway, with a bum shoulder, gets the punt off. Vanderbilt will have the football when we. Ole Miss leads Vanderbilt 16-7, third quarter action, and it's really a family weekend for me. Of course, my new in-laws live here in Mississippi. They're at the game, and of course, my real in-law, my father, Bob, now joins us. So they've helped me. I'm overwhelmed.
I know you are.
It's Parents Weekend.
I
heard it was Parents Weekend, and I thought, well, Dave's going to be there. He never let me come to Florida State at Parents Weekend, so I thought I'd do it here at Ole Miss, Dave.
Well, it's wonderful to have you up here. Gosh, you spent a lot of years in this booth.
I did. I have some great memories here at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium.
And I would say the stadium has changed a little bit since your run of the SEC back in the early 90s, as Vanderbilt has it first and 10. Handoff. Here's McKenzie breaking a couple of tackles out over the 35 to the 36-yard line. Good work by the offensive line up front. A gain of 15.
And that's really the first play that they've been able to run up the middle, get a good block at the attack, kick out. Now follow them. You see the hole develop right to the inside. Read that block. Now just wait for it to develop and then sprint into that secondary. 15 yards, that's a good run up the middle against this Ole Miss defensive line.
All placed at the 36-yard line. It'll be first and 10, a fresh set of downs. In motion comes McKenzie. Here's the option. Cutler keeps it inside and gets popped in a big way. Yerrick Johnson led the way, and then LP Spence leveled him. Well, that we were talking about moments ago. It's been 10 years or so since you've been here after you did the SEC games on Turner Broadcasting. How about this place?
It's incredible. My last memory is being here when it was a corrugated metal roof.
Oh, boy.
And it was on a day like today, it was like an oven. I come up here, and Kim Anderson, your erstwhile spotter who had worked with me for years, says,
that's not the word I would use, though.
Right. Said, it's so hot up here. I said, don't you remember the corrugated metal? This place is beautiful.
Literally an oven back then, as you were telling me.
Yes.
Doster turns the corner out near the 40-yard line. Vaughn Hutchins runs him out of bounds. But you were here at a time when the famous writer Willie Morris was around here. You got to experience Ole Miss in a day, but that I haven't necessarily got to experience. And I remember you telling me today, as a matter of fact, you were looking down at the right end zone and remember seeing Willie Morris over there, who had since passed away. But
yes, we had been out all night. Oh, I wasn't all night because I was working.
You're right.
Check that. He was. We were toasting William Faulkner on his birthday at the Faulkner gravesite, and Willie came straight to the game from the all-night party.
All-night celebration.
All-night celebration. Excuse me. Observation. Memorial service.
3rd and 1. McKenzie. McKenzie still on his feet. Norval McKenzie in a foot race inside the 30 to the 20. Run out of bounds at the 8-yard line. A huge gain and a huge play for the Vanderbilt offense. They'll be first and goal inside the 10. A 47-yard gain for the Commodores.
Well, you have to keep on running, and you've got to break tackles, and that's exactly what McKenzie does. Breaks tackles there. Now it's just a foot race out here. He sees that seam, and he just takes off to it. Angle of pursuit gets him. Ole Miss never gave up, but that has got to spark Vandy.
They've had a couple of nice runs turned in by Norval McKenzie here in the opening moments of the third quarter. He now has 7 carries and 95 yards this afternoon. Quane Doster comes back in at tailback to replace McKenzie on 1st and goal from the 8. Here is Doster down to about the 5-yard line. Favorite moment, Ole Miss football moment? Can you think of one?
Yes, I can. I can think of the Billy Brewer was coaching the Rebels. Auburn was here. Pat Dye had come across the state of Alabama. He walks onto the field before the game with his Auburn Tigers, and he says, "I hate this town. I hate this place. I hate this field. I hate this team. I can't stand being here." They had stayed in Tupelo overnight, and they lost 16-14. It was 14-13 at Ole Miss. Billy Brewer's son kicked a field goal to win the game.
Unbelievable. Second and goal from the 5. Here's McKenzie. Down to the 3. Ole Miss can't afford to continue kicking field goals. Vanderbilt, they need a touchdown. Trail by 9.
Again, just find it. Now don't dance in here. Just plant, go. You know you got to put your head down sometimes, Bob. Just get that yardage.
McKenzie to the sidelines. Last week, Vanderbilt had a couple of field goals that they wish were touchdowns. They'll need 7 here. 3 tight ends in the football game. Here's the option. Cutler keeps it back inside, down to the 1. McKinley Boynton on the spot. The redshirt freshman makes a big tackle, and now what will Vandy do?
Well, I don't know. I think they're going to bring in tight ends and go for it. I know what I would do. I'd just go for it. But maybe they're going to kick. Golly, I just think I saw a kicker come in. Man. Now, what would you do, Bob? Would you go for it?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, what do you got to lose? In the booth, I've had some of the most courageous calls in the history of college football.
Well, I don't know. I tell you, well, they put you down. You're down 6 if you get it. They wanted to come away with points, and they did.
Vandy will take the 3. It's a 6-point game. It fought Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. 8:11 to go in the 3rd quarter. Bobby Johnson's club decides to run the football down the field. 77 yards. That results in a 19-yard field goal by Greg Johnson. And Vandy in this one only down by a touchdown. And Dad, you're here to watch one of the better drives Vanderbilt's had all season, and I just figured it out. My older brother, Rob, was a Vanderbilt graduate, so I guess you own part of that team in a way.
I invested over $100 grand there.
Yeah. How much of that have you seen in return?
Not a nickel. Not a nickel. By the way, I'm glad you brought that up. You owe me a couple bucks. So.
I went to that public school in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah, try the out-of-state tuition. That's all I can say.
Here's Armstead on the return out over the 20. That's where the Rebels will take over and see what they can do to answer right back. They had to punt it away the last possession. SEC moments for you. We've had a chance to talk this. I know there were some great games along the way, but, you know, best coach you dealt with.
Oh, boy, there's so many. I'll tell you what, that's not in the spot at all. Right here at Ole Miss, Billy Brewer was one of my favorite coaches. Johnny Majors at Tennessee. Now, a lot of people go, Johnny Majors. Wasn't he tough to deal with? Johnny Majors at Tennessee, and I loved dealing with Ray Goff when he was at Georgia. We were there with that transition between Dooley and Ray Goff. And Ray and I, by the way, have stayed friends over the years, and we see him, I know you do too, in Atlanta. But Billy Brewer was a bled red, white, and blue. He was a rebel through and through, and I just loved what he did. He helped get back the tradition of Ole Miss. He not originated, but he brought back the walk through the grove with the football team. And I did a lot of Ole Miss games, and Ole Miss was always competitive. Struggled some in those years, but they usually had winning seasons, and I loved coming here as one of my favorite college campuses in America, and I've been in every conference doing a football game, but this is college town.
I like it here too, but I have to say that now. Batted down at the line of scrimmage and nearly picked off. Ralph McKenzie, a redshirt freshman, almost got his big paws on it. Moses Osimichi with a sprained knee batted it out of the air.
Boy, would this have been a lineman's dream. Get your hands up when that quarterback throws it because you're right in front of them, tips it up, and they almost come down with it. Again, boy, this is so close. This is the difference sometimes between winning and losing. Everybody turns around. They're just one step from it.
Boy, I tell you what, Eli Manning has had 7 balls batted down last week against Texas Tech, and including this game as well. So defensive lineman causing some havoc for Eli. He'll go up top. Wide open is his receiver. That'll be Chris Collins. He will go the distance. 79 yards. And Ole Miss is back on top by a dozen.
Well, you said who would they answer, and they did answer. A lot of time for Manning to look downfield. And look at this, a break into coverage right here. There's nobody. Look at Shaw. Shaw bit on that inside. You can't do that when you've got deep outside, and nobody else there.
And for Chris Collins, he goes over the 1,000-yard mark in receiving yards for his career. Chris Collins with his 4th touchdown reception of the season. Ole Miss leads it 23-10. Back after a word from Archie Manning watches Eli throw a 79-yard touchdown pass to Chris Collins. He's seen quite a bit of those two hooking up the last few seasons. Ole Miss leads it 23-10, 7.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Doster bobbles it inside the 5, but Kwani out over the 25 to the 27-yard line. That'll be a 23-yard return for the true freshman. And Dad, it's been a pleasure to have you come over and join us here in the booth. Another SEC game, and as long as you keep coming every now and then instead of like every week. When you start showing up every week, I'm gonna have to start locking some doors.
I was out to dinner last night with the crew.
I heard, trust me.
Dave Baker was there, everybody was there.
I want the folks to know I went out to dinner with my wife last night. Who slides into the JP production crew dinner? This guy.
Right. Yours truly. By the way, Archie watching his son Eli, Bob watching his son Dave.
Couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better. It's great to be with both of you, Dave.
It's
Dave Rowe and Dave Neal.
And Dave Baker down the side.
Dave Baker. It's Dave.
Cutler lets it go and gets hammered. Pressure came from Charlie Anderson, who really popped Cutler. He'll be all right. But take another look at the pressure.
Well, a lot of time to throw this. It's a late developing play. You got to hold it. You know it's coming, and he gets stuck. See when his head snaps? Watch his head snap. And then again, look at this good defense. Get that hand up. Perfect defense. Get that hand in there. Look at Cutler.
I got to tell you, Dave, I watched that, and it was close. It was close to being a late hit on Cutler.
Yeah, that's it. When you see their head snap like that, you know they're getting run into.
I formation. They'll hand it off. Here's some more room. Boy, Vanderbilt finding some success off tackle. That left side of Byron May and Geisinger certainly have done a nice job, at least here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, when they drove the length of the field on that last drive, they were able to do it via the run. So they've seen some cracks, and they're trying to take advantage of it. But again, got to score. When you get that opportunity, got to put touchdowns up there.
Boy, how about that?
Yeah.
182 yards on the ground today for Vanderbilt against this Ole Miss D that came in giving up less than 60. Third down 1. Doster breaks it to the outside. Quane Doster, a shoestring tackle by Eric Oliver. Or Quane Doster is off to the races.
Oh, man, you talk about a game of inches. He just sets up Eric Oliver. Unbelievable on the run. Watch this. Coming inside. He knows he's got to get 1 yard. He's got more yards, and right there. Now look at that effort right there by Oliver. Just a fingertip out on the shoe.
Now, Kelvin Robinson has some pretty good speed, but I don't know if he'd have caught Doster. Doster was 67 yards on the ground, the true freshman. I formation on 1st and 10. Cutler will step up. Cutler lets it go. Wide open is Garrett at the 20. MJ Garrett, touchdown Commodores. 49 yards and Vandy right back in it.
Well, give credit where credit is due, and it's due up front because there was a lot of time. It's a pass off the option play, and that option has really set that up.
Talk about responding to adversity. The Commodores give up a long touchdown pass and then answer back with their own. 72 yards on that drive. Johnson's point after is up and good. These two teams continue to battle every year they play. Ted Kane, the offensive coordinator, he's fired up. His offense is moving now.
You see who he's congratulating, those offensive linemen, but watch here. Fake down the line, looks like an option. Now you drop back the pass, but look at the time. Wait. There's Garrett. He comes across the middle. He sees him again. Here's Garrett, left of your screen. He's going to come across. Now watch right here. Just kind of. Now again, you see everybody going with Stricker. There comes Garrett underneath. Stricker gets all the attention, and Garrett has just, as you said, you can't be any more wide open than that.
Well, Dave, M.J. Garrett, we talked about it, was a big-time receiver a year ago for this club. But he had a shoulder separation last year and played through a lot of pain. But M.J. Garrett had 2 catches in the opening game, was shut out the last 2 games. We asked the coaches, where's M.J. Garrett? They were saying this is perhaps one of his last chances because Brandon Smith has been playing well. Well, I think M.J. Garrett might have kept his position alive.
Absolutely, and how about Cutler's reaction on the play? He had to hold it and wait for the play to develop. Wait for Stricker to take the attention. Wait for Garrett to come across, and he did a great job.
We got ourselves a ball game.
Yes, we do.
After a sluggish first half of this game, we've had some excitement.
We're back to a touchdown.
Now we're talking. High kick. Johnson stubbed his foot on the kick. Very returnable. Here's Armstead, tripped up at the 21. A nice special teams play. Gain of 10 on the return. High formation. Very quiet at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. Eli steps up. Another home run ball. Mike Espy. He will go the distance. 78 yards. Are you kidding me?
I was just going to say, when you're in a slugfest, what do? You slug. The other guy slugs, and they slug right back. That's exactly what Ole Miss did. They slugged it right back. Man, you talk about quick hitting. That game was kind of dull at halftime. It sure has gotten exciting.
Wow. Ole Miss will go for 2. Timeout taken. It looks like official timeout. And it may have something to do with Rick Rosano's wrap on his arm. I'm not quite sure. We will. Or maybe now they're.
Boy, a lot of time. Look at Losi, almost gets to him. But Manning just stepped up and just threw a strike. Watch this again. This is what you want a quarterback to do. Backside pressure, step up, and deliver a strike. And he catches him right in stride. Never had to miss him. Just didn't miss a lick on it. And Morris, he's just chasing. Here it is, post pattern. Fake a little bit. Now, look at this. Not even a break in stride. It's right on his hands. That's a perfect pass. That's how you draw it up.
Well, Dave, what had happened while there was an official timeout is the fans in the end zone throwing some objects onto the field. Coach Cutcliffe went down there. Ole Miss was officially warned about the fan behavior as Ole Miss goes 4-2. Little rollout. Eli Manning made it look real easy, and then a flag comes down late. Russian Jones. And it looks like the flag wasn't thrown on Russian Jones, I don't think. The flag was moved closer to midfield. And another object came out of that Ole Miss student section.
Well, David Cutcliffe looks on. Maybe it was a pick. I'm wondering if that's what they called. Because you're right, the flag wasn't thrown where the hit was.
Pass interference on the offense. Penalty will be 15 yards. We'll retry it down.
And now Ole Miss will have to go for 1.
You can't pick play. In other words, you can't, like in basketball, rub off on somebody. And that's evidently what they saw.
So Ole Miss will be backed up to the 17-yard line.
Well, the fans don't like it. This makes a long extra point.
Extra point attempt by Jonathan Nichols.
It will be a 36-yard point after attempt. The kick is up, and it's good. So from 36, Nichols will get 1. Not bad. 21 points have been scored in the last 2 minutes and 4 seconds at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. The last from that man, Mike Espy, the redshirt freshman, with his first Oh, we talked about 21 points in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. We've had 24 points total here in the third quarter alone.
There's still 5.5 minutes left.
At halftime, we had 23 total.
Now, what do you do if you're Vandy? Do you slug right back? That's what good teams do.
Doster at the goal line. Juane tripped up and did not reach the 20. Let's check in with Buzz on the sidelines. Buzz?
Dave, you've talked about it throughout the broadcast, but Ole Miss, the worst rushing defense in the league last year. Up until this week, they were second in the conference in rushing defense. No coincidence that they've had trouble here in the second half since Goethe has gone out with that broken foot, and Eddie Strong injured his ankle again last week. It's now a question of depth, and we talk about it every week in this conference, but it's not only having good players, but having a lot of them when the injuries inevitably come.
Dave, the inside linebacker has been certainly missing for Ole Miss today. That's where Vandy's going, off tackle.
Exactly right. And as soon as it happened to Goethe, you know it's a weak spot. You come right back and hit him.
How about Vanderbilt answering right back? Cutler to his tight end, Tom Simone. That'll be a first down. But that off tackle play has been so effective. But this time, they kind of trick us up a little bit and throw the ball.
Well, nice pass. That's a beautiful pass. Well thrown. Right to Simone, right in the seam. They picked up good yardage with it. That'll keep that run open. But you're right. That's where right now the serious situation is to fill in that middle linebacker. How are they going to stop that run from tackle to tackle?
I formation. Option. Cutler's got nowhere to go, but goes the other way. Dodges a couple defenders over his own lineman to the 40.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, a little razzle-dazzle that went haywire. Turns into a first down for Vanderbilt and a 22-yard pickup. That looks like backyard football.
And watch the block by M.J. Garrett on the tail end. Stricker gets caught on the play. He's out of it. Now watch right in here. There's a good block, and then he leaps over top. He has to go over top of Geisinger. And Dan Stricker just got caught in the play. He was coming back, and you can see he just gets caught in the flash of it. He ain't going anywhere. That caused Cutler to go all the way back against the grain.
A loss of 2 or 3 on the play. Quane Doster, Jesse Mitchell with the tackle for Ole Miss.
Well, you know, you get the feeling that Vandy is more competitive. In the past, they'd be out of a game like this. They'd be down, they'd be out, they'd be running out of gas. But you can just see that they're well prepared. They're staying in this football game. It's a slugfest, and they're still swinging.
Ted Kane, an offensive coordinator who's down on the field. You don't see that a lot anymore. He wants to be down there with his guys. I formation. Cutler under pressure. Cutler goes down at the 48. Matt Greer will get credit for the sack.
Boy, and if you ever needed time, that was the time that Cutler needed it. He had Stricker on a post pattern. You see him flash by in the bottom. All he needed to do was get up and find some room because he had Stricker across the middle, one-on-one. No doubt that that's who he wanted, Dan Stricker. Boy, you have to credit Ole Miss for taking him out of the game. Stricker's just not been a factor today.
And I credit the Ole Miss defense, Dave. That sack gives them now 12 on the season, 3 today. That matches last year's total. They had 12 sacks total last year. They got 12 now. 3rd down and 19. Timeout called as the ball was snapped. Or actually, a flag is down. I don't know if they got the timeout or not. Looks like they're going to be whistled for delay of game.
Snap, delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Down remains 3rd.
Ken Wagers, our referee today, so that'll just make it 3rd down and 24 now. We'll do it again.
Well, they need to come up with a good play. They were actually going to have first down on the 39-yard line. They're in good territory. Now they're all the way back on their own 46-yard line. Can't have that. When you move those chains, you got to keep that momentum.
Kobeliski with a bad wheel back in the game. 6'7", 280-pounder. High formation. Cutler will drop back. It's a 7-step drop and goes up top. Looking for the home run ball. And it's incomplete. The ball was actually picked off at about the 2-yard line, but he was out of bounds. It was Chris Knight, the senior, who had perfect coverage on the play.
And if you're a Built fan, you say, hey, I sure wish he had caught this in bounds because it would have been inside the 5-yard line, clearly out of bounds. That's the one when you want to knock it away. But good play.
That's a tough series right there, because at the 39-yard line, even if you're having a 3rd and 10, you're still kind of in 4-down territory. Now they got to have to punt it away, and punting away to a very dangerous return man in Armstead. Johnson with a high kick. This is a good coverage kick. Armstead lets it go, and it bounces into the end zone. Nice decoy. Called for the fair catch, and then let it bounce into the end zone. Next Saturday's Jefferson Pilot SEC Game of the Week comes from Baton Rouge as Mississippi State travels to LSU. A couple of the SEC's top running backs go head-to-head in this matchup. The Tigers' LeBrandon Toefield is the league's top returning rusher from last year. And Dante Walker leads the Bulldogs this season in rushing and scoring. State's defensive standout Mario Hagan looks to make his presence felt as well. You can catch all the action between Mississippi State and LSU right here, Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. 1st and 10 Rebels, 2:34 to go in the 3rd quarter in this shootout. Manning to Flowers. Bill Flowers to the 40 and brought down by nearly the entire Vandy defense. Hunter Hillenmeyer, the first man there. That'll be a 1st down for the Rebels.
Well, one of the things that Manning does so well is read pressure. From the backside, Losi is coming around the backside all the way around. Top of your screen, you'll see Losi come all the way now. Watch him come up inside. See him step forward and find his wide receiver. And again, this is Flowers cutting across the middle. Find that little seam, put those arms up. That's a good catch when it's thrown behind you. And you catch it like that.
Gain of 21. Ronald McClendon, the tailback. Eli will throw it over the middle. Has his man. It's Tay Biddle, the speedster, down to the 30. I think Eli Manning said enough of this dumping it here and there stuff. Let's go for some big plays.
Well, a lot of time to sit back there, and he's just playing pitch and catch right now. Nobody within 2-3 yards of the receivers. They're playing the zone, drop zone, 3-deep zone, and they're just finding them in the seams. And this is just pitch and catch. I thought Ole Miss would probably sit on the ball a little bit and run it. They ain't running. Boy, they're not sitting on it.
4th 300-yard passing game of his career. A new Ole Miss record. And the gain of 30 took him over that mark. 326 yards today. Little delay handoff. McClendon down to the 22-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 2. Sharon Thompson on the stop, along with Hunter Hillenmeyer, who now has 7 tackles today after a 15-tackle performance last weekend.
Well, great play selection again. When you get that pass going, it opens up the run. A lot of people say you have to run to be able to pass. Not with Ole Miss. You can pass and be able to open up the run.
Ole Miss, over 200 yards of offense in this quarter. This quarter. Manning trying to add to that. To the corner. Pass is caught by Armstead. Out of bounds. At the 5, Russian Jones runs him out of bounds. A gain of 24.
You mentioned it in the open. You said that maybe Eli Manning. You said maybe Eli Manning has gotten his fling last week. He got into the mood. And he started off good. But boy, let me tell you something. As he heated up in this 3rd quarter, that's as well as you can throw that fade. You just can't throw it any better than that.
Manning had a career high. 374 yards passing a week ago. His totals now after 3 quarters, 350 yards. As Vanderbilt takes a timeout on 1st and goal. Pearson will walk into the end zone. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. And Vandy now looks like they're in a big, big hole. The Rebels will go for 2.
Yeah, he just danced in the end zone. Great adjustment there by Pearson. Watch. This is coming right there where Hillenmeyer is. He sees it, he dances outside, and now he can just skip into the end zone. You know, I remember when 200 yards used to be mark of a great game passing. Now it's 300, but how about 250 in a quarter?
6 of 8.
Jeez.
There's Pearson, a happy man, the freshman running back, but I just am amazed at what Eli Manning has done this quarter. I mean, it is one of the great quarters of all time. 6 of 8, 250 yards, and now he'll try to go for 2. It's good. And guess who got it? A touchdown man. What on? Vashawn Pearson with a 2-point conversion. And it's 38-17. 50 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Well, you said this is the greatest, maybe one of the greatest quarters. Yeah, exactly.
There have been some good ones, but this ranks up there in the top 10 for sure.
Gosh, it's one of my top 5 I've ever witnessed. I can't remember us ever seeing a quarterback 250 yards in a quarter.
Let's see if we can get the official. Is the official 2? All right, just to clarify this, for Eli Manning, 6 of 8, 240 yards passing. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
And Vashawn Pearson with 24 yards rushing, but a couple of touchdowns as well. Eli Manning now with 9 touchdown passes against just 2 interceptions for the season.
Well, I just love the emotion, or maybe what you call control of Eli Manning. You see him standing on the sideline, drinking a Gatorade, just kind of taking it all in stride. He doesn't say, he says, I don't get up real high, I don't get down real low, I'm just concentrating on the game.
Doster with another kickoff return. Doster, here's Kwani Doster. I'm sorry, folks, I don't think. Doster still on his feet, down to the 5. I almost said I don't think anybody can catch him, but somebody almost did. But Doster with a huge return of 95 yards. Gary Johnson finally runs him out of bounds.
He exploded through the hole. Watch this, you want to time that wedge. The wedge is the 4 players up there. Now right when they hit, you want to see that separation. That's exactly what he does. Avoid one there. Now down the sideline, they've got an angle of pursuit on him. Great effort there, great effort. Just come down just to slow him down. Another great effort there.
I tell you, Dave, Trey Freifogel was the guy that showed me some good speed, because Doster's been clocked at 4.33 in the 40. And how about Vandy? They just won't go away. The Commodores are knocking on the door. Tant inside the 5 to about the 3. I tell you what, Vanderbilt has showed me a lot the last 2 weeks in terms of not mailing it in.
Oh, exactly. Being competitive, staying in the football game. Things went wrong for them. They had a couple penalties that really hurt, a couple turnovers that really hurt. But again, they've stayed in this football game. They've been involved, and they're still in it.
That is the end of what was one of the most exciting third quarters I've ever seen. Archie Manning witnessed a lot of points, over 450 total yards of offense in the third quarter alone. Ole Miss scored 28 fourth quarter points last year to knock off Vanderbilt in a come-from-behind win. They don't have to come from behind, but they just put 22 on the board against the Commodores. But Vandy knocking on the door as well. They got second down and goal from the 2. And Dave, how about this? To this point, 752 yards of total offense between these two clubs. We still got 15 minutes of football left. 3 tight ends, flag comes flying, ball's loose. But they will whistle it dead. That looks like there might have been some movement on the offensive line.
Boy, you don't want that inside the 5-yard line. If this is an offensive penalty, this is a killer.
And that will be against Vanderbilt.
Snap. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Down remains second.
We may be able to see that. Let's look right here on the. Oh, there it is, right there. He just falls forward. That's Brancho.
That end zone, Dave, making some noise. It's just the new addition to the Vaught Hemingway Stadium in that end zone, and the students are right there. And I think the crowd noise may have been a factor.
You've got them sitting in your face. You don't call audibles. You can see there's a crowd of red out there when Vandy comes up to the line. Listen to him yell.
2nd and goal from the 7. Stricker in motion. Cutler gets the pass off. Cola had a chance, the fullback, but couldn't get a hand on it. Oh, I think that lit all for Bobby Johnson.
You're exactly right. You run Simone deep in the end zone, and then you run Cola out of the backfield. He catches it, he goes in. Matt Greer gets the pressure on the quarterback.
Buzz, you're down in that end zone. How's the noise?
It is absolutely loud down here, Dave, because you've got all this noise that's bowled into this end. These are all the students down here primarily, and they've been on their feet ever since they got to the Grove about 6 a.m.
And they're probably well hydrated. I formation. Cutler lofts it up, looking for Stricker. Touchdown, Commodores! What a beautiful throw and catch from Vanderbilt. Desmond Johnson beaten on the pass, but folks, I don't think there's any coverage in the world that could stop that.
I want to tell you, I looked at when the ball was thrown, Stricker had never even started to look back. The ball did as he was making his break. Again, the ball's gone there. Look at Stricker. He's still digging. Now he looks back for the ball. Can't be any more perfect than that.
Stricker's 3rd touchdown reception of the season. Greg Johnson in to attempt the point after. It's up, and it is good. So how about the Commodores? A 95-yard kickoff return sets up this touchdown pass. Let's take a look at our Gatorade stats through 3 quarters. Look at the third quarter numbers alone.
Yeah, I know. By both teams.
We are closing in on 800 yards of total offense in this game. Manning had 240 yards passing in the third quarter alone. And check this out. On 6 completions. 6 completions, 240 yards.
Nice. 40-yard average for catch.
Johnson kicks it off. That'll be a touchback. Dave, let's go back and look at some of those third quarter moments that produced 5 TDs, I think.
Yes, exactly. Collins starts the first one. Wide open, broken coverage, and it's a track meet. Come on back, Garrett. M.J. Garrett goes for his score. Then there's another one, another long throw.
Espy with this touchdown, it covered 78 yards.
And Manning's not finished yet. He finds a perfect pass to Armstead in the end zone. And then Doster with that long run down to about the 2-yard line. You like offense? You love that quarter. Wow.
1st and 10 at the 20 for Eli Manning.
Don't you hope this game kind of gets exciting?
Yeah, what happened to the offense? Manning under pressure, dumps it off. Looking for a tight end, Bo Hartsfield. And Dave, we can't, looking at Hartsfield, the tight end, we need to go back and step back and say how we got here. And I think there were some key injuries in the first part of this game. Doug Ziegler, the tight end, has a broken leg, went to the hospital. He will be out for the remainder of the year. Certainly a big instrument to this Ole Miss team and his athletic ability, but meant more than that. Eli's roommate, a senior, Robert Williams, the running back, has a sprained ankle. He is out of the football game. Lanier Goethe, the linebacker, also out of the football game. These are leaders.
Yeah, they are. They're what you count on. Nobody knows that more than David Cutcliffe. He knows you have leaders on the field, and he's lost a bunch of them.
Jermaine Turner, the fullback, drops the pass. That'll set up a 3rd down and 10. But the point being, Dave, is that personally I've seen something here from this Ole Miss football team. You lose 3 valuable additions to this team. You lose a senior in Goethe, a senior in Williams, and a senior in Ziegler.
Yeah.
and they're just put on a clinic in the third quarter.
Well, you remember the point I made when Ziegler went down. What would they do? Would they rise up or would they fall? A lot of teams will fade when you lose your leadership, but this Ole Miss team has gathered steam.
Manning trying to slow him down right here on 3rd and 10. Manning flushed out of the pocket over the middle. Hillenmeyer got his paw on it, knocked it down. And guess what? The D holds for Vanderbilt. Ole Miss will punt it away.
4th and 10 for Ole Miss.
Let's check in with Buzz.
Dave, here's another place where depth comes into play, and it's on the kick and kick coverage team. Vanderbilt now has 45 yards in punt return yardage today, 223 in kickoff return yardage. So this has been a big weapon for the Commodores today.
Wow, good point, Buzz. Ridgeway punts it away. Brigham back to return it. Brigham to the 43-yard line. A 50-yard kick, a 9-yard return. And Vanderbilt down by a couple of touchdowns, but a lot. Ole Miss, 2 touchdowns better than Vanderbilt to this point. The Commodores, with a nice defensive stand, force the punt, and they take over at the 44 with 14:06 to play in the football game. Foster in motion. Cutler to pass. Cutler steps up. Finally brought down. He gets a couple of yards on the play. McKinley Boykin came in to make the tackle. Georgia over Northwestern State, 31-7. Kentucky at the half in a battle with Middle Tennessee. Michigan, field goal better than Utah to this point. Penn State will remain undefeated, 49-17. And NC State putting a hurting on Texas Tech. The Red Raiders, surprisingly, getting blown out. Wisconsin winning Clemson over Ball State.
Really important for Vandy here. Don't panic. Don't try to get it all back. Stay with your offense. Move the chains.
Cutler felt the pressure coming from the backside, able to avoid it. Jermaine Landrum, the left end.
When I watched Doster on this play, number 40, saying, hey, throw it to me. I'm out there. Look at me. You see him looking back from the top of the screen, and he just turned to the sideline, looked over at Coach, said, Coach, why didn't he pitch it?
The option 8 plays. Ted Kane has gone with just really a fullback lead with his tailback off tackle, off guard, and it's been effective, but yet the option was so good against Auburn. 4 receivers, 3rd down 9. Garrett with a big catch. MJ Garrett still on his feet. Garrett inside the 30 to the 25. MJ Garrett is back, folks.
Amen, is he back. He breaks 2 tackles, Chris Knight and Justin Wade on this play. He might not have caught many in the first 2 games, but he's making up for it now. There's the 2 missed tackles, and then he just drags Vaughn Hutchins for about another 8-9 yards.
A gain of 31. Garrett now 3 catches, 125 yards.
And you know what? If I'm sitting back there and I'm Cutler, I'm looking over there and saying, hey, how many times can 24 catch it? I might go back to him. I still got Stricker over here.
The option, short side of the field. Cutler dives to the 20. MJ Garrett, 3 catches today. He opened up the year last season, Dave, with one of the great performances in Vandy history. 219 yards on 8 catches against Middle Tennessee. His yardage total was the 2nd highest in team history. But a separated shoulder limited his action the remainder of the year. He's healthy and he's back.
Yes, he is. How would you like to have that average? 41 yards a catch. That's not bad. I'd go right back to him.
McKenzie had to get to about the 15 and a half. If the ball's close to the 15, it'll be a first down. We'll see where they mark it. And an injured Ole Miss player. Looks like
that may be Johnson.
Eric Johnson, the left tackle on the ground. Boy, Eric came in a little banged up already, but well enough to play today.
Well, David Cutcliffe told us it was going to be a physical game, and everything has been a physical game. There have been some incredible big hits in this football game.
It'll be 3rd and 1. As McKenzie was it's actually less than 1. They need about a half a yard.
This is where you don't get fancy. Just run a fullback. Just run a tailback. Follow that fullback. Just watch him go up in there. Follow Tant.
Well, the tailback is Doster. The fullback is Tant. I formation. They give it to the fullback. Here's Tant. First down inside the 15, down to the 10. Eric Oliver with the tackle. And that's the play that was effective in the first Auburn last week, and the offensive line gets a lot of credit.
Yes, they do. Great drive block there. Simone was in there on a good block, the tight end. And then you got Tant there, who's got that great leg strength. Again, good drive block, and look at Tant. Cover up that ball, get in there, fall forward, and get that yardage.
Ryan Kowaliski, the guard, the right guard, also with a big block. We didn't even think he'd play today. Fresh set of downs for the Commodores. Here's the option. Cutler down to the 5. LP Spence with the tackle for Ole Miss.
You know, that's a tough decision by Cutler as he runs out there. He's got the pitch, but I think he feels he can pick up that 4 or 5 safe yards. Why risk that pitch? It's a good, smart call. Just keep it.
Why risk the pitch? All you have to do is go back to last Saturday and watch South Carolina late in the game.
Amen.
Corey Jenkins pitches it to his fullback, Andrew Pinnock, who fumbles. Georgia wins.
Now, in this situation in here, you look down on your hit chart, see what you've run best. They've run up the middle. They've run on that right side behind May and Geisinger. That's their 2 big guys in there.
Stricker, Garrett, your 2 receivers to the near side, but they'll hand it off to Doster. Doster down to the 1. The first down marker is just a hair inside the 1-yard line. It'll be very close. They're going to say it's 4th down. Or 3rd down, excuse me.
And they ran right behind Jim May, number 72. Just get behind him, see him. He's a great drive blocker. He's a senior. He's one of the leaders.
Buzz, what do you got down there on the sidelines?
Yarick Johnson got his bell rung. They're evaluating him on the sideline. But, Dave, that's the 3rd starter from this defense that's out. You made a great point about leadership the other day and talking just a little bit earlier. And in terms of talking with the Ole Miss people, 3 of their 4 captains, Ziegler, Strong, Goethe, all out. Ben Claxton, who's banged up, is the only captain that's still on the field for the Rebels.
This is not the kind of afternoon David Cutcliffe and company had expected. But they've got themselves a real battle here. Drees back, the defensive coordinator, got his work cut out as the first down gives Vanderbilt 1st and goal from 1 yard away.
Nothing fancy here. Straight up the middle, just drive block.
Quarterback sneak by Cutler, and they give him the touchdown. Jay Cutler with his 4th touchdown this season. And we got ourselves an 8-point game in Oxford, Mississippi. The point after is pending.
Well, it's big man on big man. If you can't make a yard, you can't play. That's what Cutler does. He gets behind the 2 big guys in the middle. Byram, May, Kowaliski in there. You talked about them being injured. They just drove block in there and just made a wedge. Cutler found the end zone. Man. Boy, we gotta love that. I mean, that's when it really gets, that's when the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
That's your kind of football.
Oh, I
right?
love it, man. Nothing fancy. We ain't trying to trick you.
Bobby Johnson's Vanderbilt Commodores march at 56 yards. They've cut the lead. 815 yards of total offense between these 2 teams. It's a 38-31 football game. Vanderbilt just marched it over 50 yards. And now we got ourselves a 7-point game. You gotta love SEC football. Johnson's kick to Armstead. He'll take it 5 yards deep. Armstead met at the 12-yard line with a big hit. Nick Lyle. Big special teams play from Vanderbilt. And Buzz, I gotta think that the momentum is now in the white and gold.
Yeah, it absolutely has, Dave. You know, Vanderbilt had 3 of their first 4 on the road. They go to Georgia Tech, they go to Auburn, and then they come here. Couldn't have been a tougher situation for Bobby Johnson and company. But you know what? Eventually, you got to get players in this league. But as a first-year coach, you got to get the players you got to believe in what you're doing. He's been down on the road in the last 2 weeks, gotten his guys to come back. They believe in his system. He's got a great staff around him. And if you're a Vanderbilt fan, you got to be excited about what you've seen from Bobby Johnson and company.
Absolutely. Ronald McClendon spins his way out over the 15. They will mark it at the 17-yard line, a gain of 5.
What Ole Miss needs to do in this situation is take the wind out of the sails of Vandy. They need to drive. They need at least 3 first downs. They need to punt them deep. They don't need to go 3 and out. They go 3 and out, that keeps that life alive.
Eli Manning completed 19 passes, 35 attempts, but he's hit 9 different receivers today. McClendon spun and then hit and didn't gain a yard. Matt Clay, Moses Asimiji converge on the tackle. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, nowhere really to go on this play. Chuck Losey, the outside end, is playing it well right there. Turns it back inside, gets some help from the inside backer and the inside middle linebacker, and he slides along the line. That's, hey, 3rd down 7. That's what you want if you're on defense. And Ole Miss not converting those 3rd downs.
4 of 11 today. Manning. Pass knocked down again. That's the 8th ball that has been batted down at the line of scrimmage in the last 2 games against Eli Manning. Chris Booker, number 46, got his hand on it. Ole Miss will have to punt it away.
Well, as I said, when you're rushing a passer, if you can't get in there, what you do is get your arms up. That's exactly what Booker did. He didn't even see the ball. He just got his arms up, and it tips it, and it brings up that 4th down. Vandy's going to get great field position.
I think Cody Ridgway was able to play today with a bad shoulder because he's been a difference. Although he hit a bad kick, maybe his worst kick of the year. And it bounces back, and Vandy's got great field position at the 41 of Ole Miss. Ridgway led the SEC in punting, over 46 yards per kick, but that one just 25 yards. Dave, go back just a second. We talked about trying to, defensive linemen fell off last week against the Ole Miss front 5. And the coaches said it makes it difficult to block those guys if they're not going to rush the pass.
Exactly. And that's a good pass defense. What you do is you drop off, try to get in front of the quarterback, get your arms up, and it's like throwing through a forest. Those little trees are those arms that stick up in your face. And it's affected Eli Manning today. Affected them on that last series for sure.
1st and 10 Commodores, the blitz coming. Pass is caught by Garrett. Cutler got laid out at midfield. This is one of the toughest son of a guns I've seen in a long time. Ryan Hamilton on a blitz hit him right in the chops.
I want to talk. You want to watch a chop. Watch this. Right in the chest. And look at Cutler. Just quick arm. Bang. And I mean, he gets leveled by Hamilton. He never sees the completion. What a pass. And M.J. Garrett. You said how quiet he was in the first 2 games. Boy, is he making a noise now.
Gain of 13, another 1st down. Doster in motion. He gets the pitch, has some room. Doster inside the 20. Doster, touchdown Commodores. We've got ourselves a ball game. He stepped out of bounds at the 2. Bring it back. Doster thought he was in. Oh, my goodness.
Well, it all starts with some great blocks up front. Geisler, he gets a great block on the end, and look at Doster. He just roars through the hole.
Doster now a dozen carries, 94 yards. Let's see if he stepped out.
Yep, right there.
At the 3. Good call by the officiating crew. I thought he got in. Instead, it's 1st and goal. 10. Touchdown, no denying Vanderbilt on that play. His first touchdown of the season.
Boy, great lead block by Baracola, the fullback, on the play. He's the one that cleaned it out for him. Boy, you're right. We got a ball game here.
Greg Johnson will attempt to tie this thing up, or we assume that will happen. And yes, Vanderbilt will line up for the point after now. Johnson, the true freshman, his biggest point after of his young career, is perfect. How about this? Jay Cutler leading the Commodores. Matthew Tant ties it up at 38 in Oxford. Wow.
That's a good way to start it off.
It was 16-7 at halftime, and then we had two other teams come out, and now this is what we got.
Wow.
31-22 in the second half. And we're tied at 38. Collins will take a knee in the end zone. Ole Miss tried to eat up some clock on their last possession. They gave it to McClendon, the tailback, a couple of times and didn't get anywhere with it. Brought up a third down in about 5 or 6. Manning threw it, got it batted away. Now what do you do if you're David Cutcliffe? What's your thought process against Bobby Johnson?
I stay right with the same offense that's gotten me here, and that's been Eli Manning across the middle. I don't think it's time to shut it down right now. He's gotten some balls banged around, but when he's had time, he's found open receivers. Look to go the same direction.
Off tackle, that's Pearson. He gets a couple of yards, and Jonathan Schaub now with 10 tackles in this football game. Schaub had 26 total tackles. Hunter Hillenmeyer trying to shake off an injury. Hunter leads the team in tackles with 40 coming into this game. Hunter with 8 stops today and a pass batted down as well. Second down, 6. Manning, quick drop. Fires to his fullback, Rosano. That was about 4 yards shy of the first down. Byram makes the tackle for the Commodores, the linebacker, and that'll bring up third, 4.5, maybe 5.
Dave, one of the issues that we talked about with the Vandy coaches was missed tackles last week. We haven't even kept missed tackles last week.
John Latina, the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, David Cutcliffe looking on, trying to figure out what happened here in the fourth quarter after an explosive third quarter. 3rd and 5. Manning fires, pass caught by Bill Flowers. He has made 4 or 5 catches that have resulted in first downs for the Rebels this afternoon.
And as a quarterback, you have a tendency to go to those type of people that make those big catches. And Flowers is it. It hits his hands, it's his.
Oh, and barely held on.
He bobbled for a second, but you see Manning look over, and all of a sudden, bang, come back to him.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Ole Miss go for a home run ball right here. Ooh. Flowers to the top. Espy down low. Espy locked up one-on-one with Dominique Morris. Little play action. Manning over the middle to his tight end, Bo Hartsfield, who drags about 4 defenders with him over the 40. And that'll be close to a first down. Hunter Hillenmeyer, the first man, along with Byram, finally bring him down.
You talk about attracting a crowd. This is attracting a crowd. I'm not sure the defense didn't help him a little bit. Right there, hold him right there. Everybody, and then when they come in, the pile just seems to go over, and he makes the first down. But see, I think this is a safer drive for Ole Miss. Just move those chains, stay conservative. If you get the home run, go for it. Don't make a mistake.
Oh, great play action. Eric Rice, the tight end. Rice tripped up inside the 45. Dominic Morris with the tackle along with Gibbity, but a first down after the gain of 16.
This is one of the best plays that Manning does. It's called a tight end drag. What he does is he fake play actions backside, then he brings his tight end off the line. A lot of times it's been Ziegler. Now it's just not Ziegler. It's Hartsfield or it's Eric Rice. Now, if you're Vandy, you got to be thinking turnover. Got to have a turnover, Dave.
Pearson to the 40, gets a couple. Clock ticks, 4:22 and counting. Ole Miss has lost 9 consecutive SEC openers. That's hard to believe.
Yeah. Well, this is a good drive. Using up a lot of time. Get the ball down there. If you can score a touchdown, great. Kick a field goal, great. But don't give it back to Vandy. They have the momentum.
Jonathan Nichols, who's had a pretty good day after a slow start through the first 3 games, awaits his opportunity to maybe win this one. Here's Turner. Turner dives forward and might have got the first down with a great second effort. Schaub with the stop for the Commodores. Tremaine Turner, who missed all of last season with an injury, glad to be back on the field.
Little dump pass out to the flat, and Turner just breaks the tackle here. He's not going to make it there, and then he just leaps and twists to get that first down yardage. How about Pearson's block right back there? Number 24, good block back inside.
Pearson, after the good block, now making a pretty good run to the 25-yard line.
Well, we just talked about missed tackles. That time they had 2 of them.
Wow. 246 yards of offense in the 3rd quarter for Ole Miss. I mean, 43 yards for Vandy in the 1st quarter. And already Eli Manning has a career high in yards passing, which he said last week. McClendon bounces and trounces his way for 6. The junior with a tremendous effort and a touchdown.
You want to be a great running back in the SEC, you've got to make people miss. And that's exactly what McClendon did. He made them miss. Use that little twist move inside. They missed a tackle. None more important than that one.
Point after is up and good. 23-yard touchdown run gives Ole Miss a 45-38 lead. For Ronald McClendon, the junior college transfer from Butler Community College, with his 2nd touchdown today.
Quick feet, boy, get in there, make a miss, twist inside. That's a great move, and we've seen McClendon do that before. He's got that great balance where he can spin, just stay.
There have been so many touchdowns, I can't keep track of it all. Goodness gracious. 939 yards of total offense.
And you got a hot Vandy team that's getting the ball back. They've got over 3 minutes left.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Got a couple of timeouts left. Jay Cutler, who has had a gutsy performance. He's taken some big-time hits today.
Yes, he has.
Vandy's offense last year, Dave, they would sling it all over the field. I mean, they would throw it every opportunity to anybody that was wearing the right jersey. Sometimes the wrong jersey got them too.
Yeah.
But what a change in philosophy, and they're still able to put some points on the board. Here's Doster at the goal line. Doster, this time corral, last time a 95-yard return. So Vandy will have 80 yards to go. When the Jefferson Pilot Sports Crew's on the road covering SEC football, we like to eat at Huddle House and always enjoy their big house breakfast and lunch platters. 3:01.
Well, the big guns were M.J. Garrett. Got to find him. Stricker's been pretty quiet. They've taken him out of the football game. No better time for him right now than this series to get a few of those big catches like Stricker has done so many times before.
Straight drop for Cutler. Pressure coming. Pass is thrown. And Stricker was open, but Cutler got hit as he let it go. And the ball fell a couple of yards shy, but it looked like Stricker had his man beaten to the inside. Anderson with the pressure.
He sure did. He's got to step up. You've got to feel that pressure behind you. You know it's coming. And just as he threw the ball, he wasn't able to follow through. You see Stricker on that post pattern?
Oh.
He's open.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Cutler knew it. Look at Cutler. And you know what I'd do? Come right back with the same type of pattern. It was open once, see if it can open up again.
Second down and 10. 3 wide out, single setback is McKenzie. Cutler fires his tight end Simone with the catch, first down, stop the clock, move the chains.
Well, I'll tell you, Simone's got good hands. When that ball comes in there, that's flashed in front of him, and he makes a great catch for that first down.
Buzz, what's going on that Ole Miss bench?
Going on right now is that Eddie Strong is really trying to get this defense to play. He exhorted them during the last time out when they came back to catch their breath for the last time and said, fellas, we just got to make a play, plain and simple.
Made better with 2:31 to go. Cutler lets it go. Stricker catches it at the 43-yard line. That'll be another first down. Cutler gets hammered again, a gain of 11.
Boy, Cutler throwing off balance, finds Stricker, great pressure there. Jesse Mitchell in his face. Watch 95, that's Mitchell. He's going to hit him. Look at that pass, just a perfect pass right to the outside. You go to Stricker, now find Garrett on the other side.
Cutler now, 187 yards passing, 9 of 17, and a couple of touchdowns. Here's the handoff. Doster to the 45 and a face mask by Wade. And that could be, Dave, on a tackle. That's a 15-yard jobber right there.
If it's the invert one on the hand, it's only 5, but I think he's going to call 15 on that. That'll take Vandy into Ole Miss's territory.
Ole Miss waiting to find out if it's 5 or 15.
5-yard penalty against the defense.
Yeah.
Down remains first.
Yeah, you know what he did? He did a wise thing. He let go of it. Watch right in here. The hands on the face mask now. Kind of brush it there. Yeah, that's a good call.
I think the officials look for, does he grab the face mask, or is it inadvertent? And that was a case where his finger just got caught in there. Absolutely. And this is been a well-played game. Only 5 penalties today. 1st and 5, an offensive coordinator's dream. Cutler steps up, throws it too high, looking for Stricker. Out in the flats was McKenzie. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. Scott McKinney, our statistician here, shaking his hands off, getting the blood going. Yeah. He's had to write more today than he has in his entire college career. Scott's 40 years old, still in college. What are you doing, son? Doster dives forward, gets a couple on the play. That'll set up 3rd down and a couple. 3rd down 2, maybe 2.5.
Now you got to hurry now. You only got 1.5 minutes. You can't go back and just lollygag out here. You got 2 timeouts.
Vandy 7 of 13 on 3rd downs. Doster spins forward inside the 45. 1st down. Clock stops at 1:13.
A lot of time right here. Good selection. Kick out. Look inside. You know where you got to get to that yard line. You got to get to the 45-yard line, and he does it. Now, got to move those chains. When the chains move, the clock stops.
Norval McKenzie, 9 carries, 101 yards. Quane Doster, 15 carries, 101 yards. Cutler to pass. Cutler steps up, fires over the middle, looking for Stricker. Batted away at the last moment by Travis Johnson. That might have just saved the game.
Absolutely. Travis Johnson, number 25, plays the ball as well as you can play it. Look from left to right on your screen. You're going to see 25 get an arm up there. The other defender's out of position.
Again, watch this. They hand up. Tremendous play.
That right arm was all over Stricker. I tell you what.
Ooh, look at that right arm. Did you notice that right arm? You're right. I see what you were looking at.
Stricker wanted the flag.
Yeah, I see what you were talking about. You're talking about the right arm.
Yep. Second down, 10. Cutler over the middle to his tight end, Simone. He gets stopped shy of the first down marker, which is at the 34.5-yard line. Timeout taken by the Commodores. They need the touchdown. Matt Greer with the tackle. Vandy trying to pull the upset on the road in the Southeastern Conference. Third down and 3. Tant takes it, first down, Vanderbilt. Flag comes in late. That might be another face mask.
Okay, now what you want to do is get your huddle up. Look over, get your play. You're a quarterback, know what you want to play. You got to hurry a little bit. It is a face mask. That'll march off some yards. Good call right here. You got a solid run. There's the face mask.
See, that to me was a 15-yard because his hand grabbed the mask and held on.
And used it to make the tackle. But they only marked it off 5. First down, 29-yard line, 28-yard line. You got a lot of time left.
.983 yards of total offense. First down, 10. Can Ole Miss defense rise to the occasion with 24 seconds to go? Cutler hit as he lets it go. Ball's free. The defense comes up with a huge, huge play. Game over. Yerrick Johnson, who left the game earlier with an injury, forces the fumble.
Watch Yerrick Johnson, he's 98, right there. See if he doesn't come in. Watch the arm of the quarterback. Does it go forward? No. Ball comes out on the way up. That's a fumble.
LP Spence with the fumble recovery. LP moving into the linebacker role today as a starter, and he and Hamilton and Justin Wade, Rob Robertson having to pick up the slack because Eddie Strong out with an injury. Lanier Goethe left with an injury. And Ole Miss will escape with a win, 45-38, as Eli Manning takes a knee. Vanderbilt will call a timeout to stop the clock at 11 seconds to go. Eli Manning will take a knee, and Ole Miss will win their first SEC opener in their last 10 tries. But they were tested big time today by the Commodores, who have played well here in Oxford. The final score,